Joining us now, former Missouri Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, chair of the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom. Congresswoman, welcome. So the name of this report is Imprisonment, Forced Disappearance, Torture, Tools China Uses to Persecute Religious Leaders. How common are these tactics by the Chinese government?
Sadly, it's very, very common. The Chinese Communist Party has a very specific goal of reorienting the whole religion to facilitate and promote the Communist Party. It's called Sinization. And they are forcing religious leaders to adhere to their political ideology, to bow down to it, and to change their entire form of worship according to how the Communist Party wants them to promote their own ideologies, such as they are requiring pastors. First of all, they want to oversee and appoint the pastors, but they're rewriting the Bible. They're asking that hymns be rewritten. They're having contests to incorporate CCP messages in them. They're replacing pictures of Jesus with pictures of Xi Jinping, as well as the Virgin Mary in Catholic churches, taking down crosses. If you don't comply with what the government wants, if you don't register and go along with all this, then they are imprisoning pastors, and along with that, many members of their congregation, and there are multiple instances of torture being inflicted upon them. It is totally horrific.
Yeah, so we noted that the Commission has asked the State Department to redesignate China as a country of particular concern. Practically speaking, what would that do?
Sure. Well, it gives a toolbox of options for our government to put pressure on the Chinese government to change their ways. For instance, as we're having these discussions with China about tariffs, it would be very appropriate, first of all, that this would be part of the discussion. It's part of the law, the International Religious Freedom Act, which elevated religious freedom equal with economic discussions. So we should say, you want to reduce your tariffs? Well, why don't you let Pastor Wang Li out of prison, and maybe we can talk about that. So it's supposed to be included in conversations, but other options included in this is sanctions, visa restrictions, denials of ability to travel by state officials. There's a multiple options that our government has, and we should use them, use this leverage to get the government to change its ways and promote religious freedom among its citizens.
Yeah, what does this kind of persecution do to people trying to practice their faith? Does it turn people off and kind of make them, steer away from their faith, or does it do the opposite and it just forces them underground?
Well, I had the privilege last week of visiting with some individuals who were in China and have been in China, family members there, and they're Christians. And they were sharing that despite this persecution, despite having to worship secretly in underground house churches because they refused to comply with the government regulations in the government-approved churches, that the gospel of Christ is growing in China. And it's just China can't stop it. It's everywhere. There's millions of Christians now, and this is happening even in other religions as well. The government doesn't just target the Christian churches, but also the Buddhist monks, and of course we have genocide. They're conducting in the Xinjiang province against the Uyghur Muslims, and have 1 million of them in re-education camps. We call them basically kind of like the Holocaust. And so it's truly a horrific situation that the Chinese Communist Party is inflicting on all of its citizens of faith. But certainly from what I'm hearing in the Christian world, it is actually causing more numbers to increase.
That's very encouraging. You had mentioned the Uyghurs. We've done a lot of reporting on the plight that they face in China. Why do you think the world, it doesn't seem like it just is kind of not getting the attention it deserves?
Well, yeah, it's been going on for several years now. I know when I was in Congress, we passed many pieces of legislation, for instance, requiring that our United States government and our country who has U.S. businesses cannot do business over there in those areas, and they have to certify that products are not coming from that area. And so trying to put pressure that away economically so that China can't use these poor individuals. So, but it needs to continue to be told what is going on there.
Yeah.
Is terrible and horrific. And of course, they're requiring the sterilization and forced abortions. And
Yeah.
that's why, under Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, he designated as genocide.
Yeah, it's terrible, and we'll continue to shine a light on it here at CBN News. Vicky Hartzler, chair of USERF, thank you so much. It's great to see you.